Here we are, Cut Day, National Football League. Appreciate everybody coming aboard with us. What a day. What a day, and a lot of news, a lot of national news, a lot of local news that affects your football team. The Cam Newton deal was incredible. I mean, just absolutely incredible to hear that the New England Patriots cut Cam Newton. And the speculation that's going out there about the COVID-19 protocol mishap that he had a week ago it's just absolutely preposterous. But now that Cam Newton has actually been cut from the New England Patriots, there is no question. And by the way, for the record, I actually think Cam played exceptionally well in the exhibition season for the Patriots. I thought he picked up Josh McDaniels' offense well. I thought he did an exceptional job after what we saw a year ago. I think he's a little bit more healthier. And let's not forget something here. There is no doubt that they did not ask Cam Newton to do the things that Cam Newton normally does in a football game. And you know what that is? Run the football. This guy had 11 rushing TDs last year. Not his best passing season at all, to say the least. But quite frankly, that football team was playing some pretty good football early on in the year. They ran the ball for 300 yards in the opener against the Dolphins, and they just absolutely ran them off the field. Whoever gets Cam Newton is going to get a pretty damn good football player. Before we get started here, and I'm going to ask Eagle fans this question: how would you like to have Cam Newton on your football team? For that, I want to throw out there who's going to join us today. My friend Jason Cole, bottom of the hour. We'll talk some national football, and we'll get all the cuts. We'll get his thoughts on Cam Newton, potential landing spots. In the second hour, we're going to try to get our friend Mike Golick. And Mike's doing a lot of work today, so we're going to see if we can squeeze him in. That'll be in hour number 2. And listen, I've been doing this lately, and I absolutely have fallen in love with it, that we have had you guys all come on the show, and you guys are content creators here. JJ is here with us now, still standing. Yeah. Oh, good, okay. Muhammad Cam should go and be a backup to Dak Prescott. That's one of the options. I think he's going to land potentially in Houston. Or how about this? If you're the Washington football team, Ron Rivera and him, how about this for a second? Ron Rivera and him, there was no falling out in Carolina. That was more the new ownership wanted to move on from Cam. I do like that. Muhammad, what's up, man? He should be a backup in Dallas. Hey, dude, here's the problem with that, though. And I know Dak is the guy in Dallas. There's no question. You gave him the money, $42 million. But do you want a backup like that with that kind of collateral sitting on the bench there and knowing that that's going to become a distraction? Now, again, the Dallas Cowboys are notorious for distractions. Okay? JJ says that your team, my team's not the Cowboys, dude. My team's not the Cowboys. Anthony Allen, thanks for coming aboard. I mean, I would love to see Cam Newton in a place that could help somebody win. Can you imagine him going to Washington? If Cam Newton goes to Washington and he battles that out with Ryan. So you have Ryan Fitzpatrick and you have Cameron Newton in Washington. I'll tell you what, if I'm Ron Rivera, I'm looking at this really, really hard here. If he goes to Houston, he improves Houston. How about the Dolphins looking at Cam? You put the Dolphins, if you're not sold completely on Tua Tagovailoa, how about you go get Cam Newton and put him on that Dolphin team? Oh, and he gets the Patriots twice, by the way. Let's just clear the air here on one thing also. Junior, thank you very much. Very kind. Yes, the JAKIB Media channel / the National Football Show is just absolutely blown up, and we really Appreciate all of you. You guys check it out every day, and I'm so honored that you guys have checked it out. Paul says Cam sucks. Really? I'm not there with that. I'm a Cam Newton fan. I think Cam can help a football team win. Okay, let's throw this out. You actually think Jalen Hurts is better than Cam Newton today? You think he's better than Cam Newton? If anybody says yes, you're high. You're crazy. Absolutely not. Absolutely. Who do you think players would follow more? Maybe in Philadelphia, because Jalen has done a nice job in that locker room. See, this is the one thing that I do. And you know what? I know what people are going to start saying. You're a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm trying to win football games. Jersey Kush says, you're getting a thumbs down for that comment. Cam's throwing motion is broken. Hey, Nigel, I thought he looked good in the preseason. ZTV, as of right now, yes. Anthony Allen. By the way, all of you can join us, man. We really appreciate you guys doing this. Jersey Kush thinks that Jalen Hurts is better than Cam Newton. Anthony says Cam Newton will lead the Eagles to the playoffs hands down. If he was a quarterback this season with the players that we have on this team, we could win the division. Anthony, I'm kind of in that room with you. ZTV can't throw the ball. Look at last year. Okay, well, if I'm looking at last year, a lot of people last year did not play well because of COVID-19. Let's not forget he caught it. But I do want to put something to rest here. How funny is it that you're getting the national media now trying to put this so-called COVID-19 cloud above Cam Newton's head? That the reason that the Patriots cut Cam Newton is because he's not vaccinated. I actually heard Colin Cowherd say that. You're talking about an organization in New England that got nabbed for Spygate, Deflategate, hiding players on the injured list. Numerous other things. That thing in Cincinnati a couple years ago. You think they give a rat's ass about COVID-19? That has nothing to do with the equation. Oh, and if you're going to go by that logic, by some of the meathead Corona pimps, so that means what? That Josh Allen, who just got a contract extension, the Buffalo Bills want to move off of him? Or that the Ravens are not going to give Lamar Jackson a contract extension? That guy actually went on the air and also said that, get this, the Colts would move off of Wentz because he's not vaccinated. When you move off a player in the NFL, you move off him because he sucks. Or because you have somebody behind him that you think could play better or there's more of an upside. Jersey Kush says Cam Newton took minimum salary based on what? His decline play? No, his market value. And remember, he was in a COVID-19 market value. You couldn't do any workouts for any teams last year. So the most that you got a chance to talk with other teams last year was because you got a chance to Zoom conference call them. That was your workout a year ago, was Zoom conference calls. Now you get to go into these facilities and you get to have people look at you. Derek says, how long would you even take to grasp the playbook? That's a question. That's fair. How long? Well, what do good coaches usually do then? You know what good coaches usually do? They tailor the playbook to the player's strengths, not to the player's weakness. Now, I agree. Is this 2015 Cam Newton? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But 70% of Cam Newton is better than what they have in Philadelphia right now. Oh, and for the record, this Gardner Minshew kid that the Eagles traded for this past weekend, you think he's going in there to be the backup to Jalen? One sign of that guy tripping up, I promise you, man, Howie Roseman's not going to sit there and he's not going to wait to sit there and develop Jalen. Absolutely not. Oh, and for the record, the Deshaun Watson stuff, yesterday Howard Eskin was on the program. And you know what Howard said? Howard still thinks the Eagles are in the conversation for Deshaun Watson. He said that. I was like, well, I thought maybe that he'd be moved off of that. But no, Howard believes that guy could be still in the conversation. I've said this the whole time. Eagles, Dolphins, Panthers, and Broncos are in that conversation for Deshaun Watson. Now you've got a quarterback in Cam Newton. I am not signing Cam Newton because of COVID-19 and him not being vaccinated. I don't care about that. I could care less. Josh Allen's not vaccinated. Carson Wentz is not vaccinated. Lamar Jackson's not vaccinated. Dak Prescott's not vaccinated. I don't care about that. Could care less. The stuff that's behind the scenes when it comes to Deshaun Watson, until that guy's in jail or until that guy's suspended, I don't care about the accusations either. Until I see the commissioner put that guy on an exempt list, I don't care. I want to know if a player's available. Nigel says if Howie still wants Deshaun, he's an idiot. Nigel, that's an idiotic comment. He's one of the top 5 guys in the league. Wait a minute. Let's find out how smart Nigel is. Nigel, do you think Jalen Hurts is better than Deshaun Watson? All you have to do is look at his response, and then you'll know what kind of person he is. Either he's an idiot or he's not. ZTV says Jalen's going to go crazy this year. Is that wishful thinking? Because it's not facts. He hasn't yet. Now, to his point, still has to get an opportunity. His character is what we see. No, you don't. How do you know that stuff is true? Wow. I wouldn't want you on my case as a juror. Don't you find it weird? Dude, don't you find it weird? 22 accusations of sexual misconduct, and the league's done nothing to him. Don't you find that you can answer your own questions, folks? I get asked this question all the time about Deshaun. Well, he's going to get suspended. No, I don't. He hasn't been yet. And by the way, you think the league is going to all of a sudden suspend him right now? Why? For what? These cases aren't even going to be heard until next spring. All of these cases are civil. You know what that means, right? They're going after the wallet, not the crime. That's my red flag. If my daughter was raped or my daughter was in a sexual misconduct conversation and Deshaun, I would demand that the district attorney or the Houston police have that guy arrested tonight. Because he's a detriment to the community of Houston. If that's truly the case, why is the FBI also in the case? That's why Howie's name and the Eagles are still in the conversation for Deshaun Watson. And for the record, any general manager in their right mind would want that guy on their team. Watch this. I'm going to show you something here. You think Deshaun Watson is better than anything they have in Chicago? Yes. You think Deshaun Watson's better than anything they have in San Francisco? Yes. You think Deshaun Watson is better than anything that they have in New England? Yes. Get this, he's only 25 as well. Iceberg Slim says, oh, trust me, it's all about the bling. You're damn right it is. I could go down the list of about 28 teams that would trade their quarterback in for him. By the way, you think Green Bay would trade in Aaron Rodgers for a 25-year-old Deshaun Watson? I get 15 more years of Deshaun, and I got 2 years of Aaron. I don't know. Okay? Deshaun is better than Jalen. But Cam, as of right now, isn't. I disagree with that. I've got one. Mike Golick will come on in the second hour and tell us. How's that? Okay. Agreed. Iceberg Slim's right. I believe Green Bay would do that. What you're telling me? 2 years of Aaron and 15 of Deshaun. I mean, come on. You know, I know some of you went to college or went to high school, and I know some of you can use calculators. You can add this stuff up, right? You're always looking to upgrade that position at any cost. At any cost. That's what, I'll make a point to you. If I was Howie Roseman or any other general manager in the NFL, I would draft a quarterback in every single draft that I had if I was GM. That's not to say that I would draft him in the first, second, or third. Might be a seventh rounder. Might be a sixth rounder. How do you know you don't find Brady? How do you know you don't find Montana in the third round? How do you know that? How do you know you don't find Kirk Cousins in the fourth round? How do you know you just don't find some of these guys who were draft choices? Tony Romo wasn't even drafted. Kurt Warner was cut a billion times. I mean, the majority of the really, truly spectacular quarterbacks are not all first-round draft choices. Get this, the two greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL were not taken in the first round, second round. Montana was in the third, and Brady was in the sixth. Okay? There's 11 Super Bowls between those two dudes. I don't know. 11-3 between them two? I'll take those two guys. Give Hurts a chance. A full season? Iceberg Slim? Really? A full season? I don't know, man. A full season. By the way, just so you know, I'll be checking my phone because there's a lot of news on potentially where he's going to land. And, so just so you know, I think it's got a shot to be what someone brought up earlier. It could be Dallas. Because to me, personally, I don't believe that they are 100% sold that Dak Prescott's shoulder is going to hold up during the year. Anthony says the quarterback we traded for from Jacksonville is very hungry. I love this guy. By the way, Urban Meyer said he struggled in getting rid of him. He said this guy's one of the best competitors there possibly is. And he just absolutely loves that guy. And he goes, I am a Gardner Minshew fan for the rest of my life. You know who he reminds me of? Can I tell you who Gardner Minshew's attitude reminds me of? He's a Philly kind of guy. You're going to love him. Gardner Minshew is going to be a Philly guy. He's a bucket kind of guy. He's a hardworking dude. Wow, bro, tough on Hurts. For what? Has clear potential. Where did you see that potential? By the way, for the record, all the decisions that Nick Sirianni made at the wide receiver spot, he better get it right because you know why? He spent the majority of his time evaluating the wide receiver spots with the Eagles. Those guys better have a really great year because the majority of the time I saw him coaching. And I've said this before to people, and I'll say it again to you. Do you know where people really get in trouble when you're making that transition from being an assistant coach to the head coach? You forget you're no longer assistant coach because you stick to your strength. And by the way, hard, I don't fall in love with the name on the back of the jersey. I fall in love with the name on the front of the jersey. Okay? I fall in love with the emblem on the helmet. That's what I love. I love teams. I love teams getting better. Names on the back of the jerseys, they're pawns. Must be a coincidence that he had over 20 messages. Well, then arrest him. Arrest him. Arrest him then. Must be a coincidence? Then arrest him. You still haven't gotten over Wentz. I think Wentz got horrible coaching, and I think that the front office got in the way of Wentz. And I think Wentz played horribly last year. He's going to go to Indianapolis and put that team in the postseason. Breaking, man, I'm disappointed by the wide receiver cuts. Breaking, I'll tell you flat out, he better get it right. He better get it right. He spent the majority of the time with the wideouts. He's a wide receiver coach by trade. You're living in the past. You think Cam is still good. I do think Cam is still good. And you're living in a la-la land. All you're doing is this. It's like putting a tooth underneath your pillow and telling me, I hope Jalen's great. If Jalen Hurts has 4,000 passing yards this season, I want you to eat a bowl of horse crap. I'll tell you what, I'll eat a bowl of crow. And so you know, Jersey, whoa, wait a minute here. I want all of you guys to know this. He brings a great point up. I was wrong about Lamar Jackson 3 years ago, and I ate a whole bowl of crow. I said that guy'd be out of the league in 5 years. Then he turned out to be an MVP. Now, I don't look at Jalen Hurts and go, well, that guy's going to be Lamar Jackson. Nothing wrong, Sirianni, using his experience. Yes, there is, Raheem. I'll tell you why. When you're a head football coach, you got to delegate your time to every position on the field and every group setting on the field. Just can't be about you going over and patting the wide receivers on the head. And that's one of the issues that you have in Los Angeles with Sean McVay. McVay sits on that defensive side of the ball, and that's why that defense falls on that offensive side of the ball, and that's why that defense falls apart every year. Ben says that Wentz is going to do the same thing he did in Philly. Why do you think that? He's got a better team in Indy. He's got Jonathan Taylor. He's got one of the top O-lines, and he's got one of the top 10 defenses. I disagree with that. At least you're to – I believe in what I saw. This is Raheem. I believe in what I saw in Nick in Indianapolis over the last few years. Same thing could be said here, okay? Again, I don't think anybody's wrong here. And excuse me, because I'm Italian here. Always remember this. Hey, just because Italians are loud, okay? The loudest guy in the room is not always the correct guy in the room. Steven says, you're the only person I heard say about Sirianni being only with the wideouts. What's your source? Everybody that was there, Brian Baldinger. I'm not saying that's overly poor. I'm not saying that, but I said you've got to be a coach that's able to spread yourself out. Bill Parcells says that all the time. That transition, don't you think that transition, what do you think, that's just an easy thing to do, go from a position coach to being a head coach? Why do you think most coaches struggle in their first year? All right, listen, I got to take a time out because we're going to talk to our friend Jason Cole, who's an NFL insider. We'll talk a little bit about Cam. I'll even throw out Cam and the Eagles. We're going to try to catch up with Mike Golick. That will also be in hour number 2. Any question you have, I'll ask Jason. He's a Hall of Fame voter as well. Looks like Dick Vermeil's going to get a shot at the Hall of Fame too, by the way. We'll go around the league. There's a lot of news today. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.
As a hardworking American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, we got this.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 to 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back, National Football Show. Jason Cole, our NFL insider, will join us here in a couple minutes. Camp, Philly, Washington, Houston, Dallas. I think there's going to be an absolute marketplace for him. Ben says you need to trust Ertz like the way y'all think Wentz is going to get back to being what he was a couple of years ago. Okay? Ben, you're not wrong. Dre says, wide receiver, weakest part of the Eagles, makes sense. Coaches spend a lot of time. Okay? It's a good take. Dan, where do you think the Eagles, this is breaking, where do you think the Eagles, Dolphins, and Colts draft picks will end up next year? First, second rounds. Not sure where you're going with that one. Jordan Howard cut. I find this surprising. Listen, here's the deal when you get a brand new coach into the building. This is why some players love it and some players hate it. It's clearly because you've got to reprove yourself when you go into a new scenario with a new head coach and new coaching staff. The only thing they have is what the front office and Howie Roseman are telling you, and also what really they see on film. And there's no question that Nick has got an expertise at the wide receiver position. And sometimes when a guy like a Jordan Howard's cut, he may have a skill set that doesn't fit exactly what approach that Nick Sirianni wants when it comes to throwing the football. Is he good in the blocking game? Is he not? Is he attentive when it comes to being on time in meetings? Does he run great routes? Is he a guy? And I'm not saying, and by the way, I'm not saying that Jordan Howard didn't do all these things. I'm saying coaches have a different set of eyeballs on you than what the previous coaching staff had on you. And sometimes what happens also is you fall into a comfort zone with the previous staff. I'll tell you something else that happens. Sometimes guys cut people to make a point. If there's two dudes that are even, and say a guy was a veteran, and you could keep that guy because he's cheaper, remember something. You got to fill out the back end of your roster. I don't think people realize this. But do you know that 50% of the rosters that are in the NFL are like low draft and undrafted draft choices? They're not all big money guys. You can't have all big money guys on your roster. You can't balance your cap doing that. So sometimes a guy like Howard gets caught in the money deal and he gets caught in the money pit. They may like the guy, but if they can get production out of another dude and they can get that guy cheaper, that's exactly what teams will do. All right, let's bring in our friend Jason Cole and get his thoughts on really has to be one of the, I don't know, surprising storylines right now when it comes to Cam Newton. By the way, Jason's book here, man, make sure you guys go out and get it. It's on Amazon here, Relentless Life. Great story on John Elway here. How surprised were you, Jace, that Cam Newton was released today?
A little more than mildly, but not wildly, if that makes some sense. Like, if you're making a decision that Mac Jones is going to be the starter, which that surprises me a little bit for Belichick, given what he did in the offseason and how he built that team, right? But if you're not going to have Cam Newton as the starter, I don't think he's a good guy to have around as a backup. He wants to be the star. He still believes in himself, as he should. I don't think he wants to play second fiddle to a rookie. You know, all those things on down the line. So, again, if you're going with Mac Jones, you move on from Cam Newton. The surprising part is knowing right now today that you're going on from Cam Newton when you have a veteran team. You have to have a lot of trust in Mac Jones at this point in time to do that with a veteran defense that's built to win today.
Jason, do you think there's a market for Cam Newton?
Yeah, I mean, he can play. I mean, look, who are some of like DiNucci is I don't even know the guy's first name. DiNucci in Dallas.
I think it's
right?
Ben DiNucci.
Are you telling me
like
that? Right. I mean, he's a character from Laverne and Shirtley, I think. You know, like, he's not a real player. You know, I mean, like, you got a chance to get Cam Newton or you can get DiNucci. Who you playing, right? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like with Colin Kaepernick. I mean, we can get into all the politics. I don't want to get into that right now. But was the guy better than half the guys who were playing quarterback as backups in the NFL? Yeah. So, you know, it had to be about politics is the reason he wasn't playing. And Cam Newton's better than, you know, probably a third of the guys who are starting on a lot of teams this year. Maybe 5, maybe 10 of those guys. He's a better pure player. Does he fit within what they're trying to do? That's a different question.
Let me throw this at you here. Team like Philadelphia or a team like Washington, obviously people are plugging in Houston. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's not a bad player, but it would be a significant upgrade having Cam Newton in the building there in Houston. And plus he's a selling point. I mean, this also comes down to star power too, because like you said, I think the star power of Cam Newton may actually repel some teams away from him, because if you're developing a young guy or you have a situation in the room there where you think you may have the guy, you don't want to upset that with bringing some superstar guy and some like personality in there. So there's a lot of things to really consider here with Cam Newton.
Well, he's a superstar. He's a superstar personality. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how about a team like Washington or Philadelphia?
That makes sense. I mean, look, he knows Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera knows him. They know how to deal with each other. Do they have a star situation at quarterback right now? Obviously not, right? Like, you're sitting here going, yeah, okay. You know, like, they need something else here. Like, you're not fully convinced of what they're doing, right? Houston, certainly, especially if they decide at some point in time to get a price on Deshaun Watson that they're willing to let him go. Certainly Cam fits there. I mean, he's a better player than Tyrod Taylor. Depending on how things work out in Detroit, he's right there, better than Goff. He's a different player than Goff, but he's probably, in some ways a better player than Goff. So Cam will have an opportunity. It's not going to be a lot of money. And ultimately, I don't think it's going to last forever, because like in the 10 years that he's played in the league, has he ever changed his playing style to fit into a more normal way of playing that lasts long and doesn't get you hurt and works within the modern passing game. Because the running ability is cool. And I know a lot of people talk about, you want to have a running quarterback and all those things, but the guy better be a good passer, at the end of the day. And Cam has never been that really super accurate passer. He's just not. That's not the nature of his game. And, as he has aged as an athlete, it doesn't work as well.
Let me throw something else at you here, okay? I mean, I hear people saying this, well, maybe one of the reasons that Cam Newton was cut in New England is because of the COVID protocols missteps from last week. And I would say this to certain media people that are throwing that out. Well, that didn't affect the Bills from signing Josh Allen to a contract extension. That didn't and won't, even though Lamar Jackson has failed 2 COVID-19 tests, okay, and he's had it twice. That's not going to stop the Ravens from signing him. Do you think this could be a crutch for some teams to go, especially when you're a borderline guy like we've been talking here with Cam? You draft a quarterback. Obviously, Mac Jones was going to be the guy. You think this could be a vehicle for teams to be using to get rid of certain players if they're not vaccinated?
If they're not good enough, and they're like, if you have two guys who are the same, right? And one of them's vaccinated and the other one's not, right? I look at this with the Bills and Cole Beasley. Like, I can find another slot receiver. As soon as I find another slot receiver who's as good as Cole Beasley, I'm going to replace Cole Beasley, number one, because I'm going to get somebody younger, maybe cheaper. Number two, I don't want to take the risk. Again, I have to line up and I have to play every single week, right? It's not like Cole Beasley can work on Zoom from his house and catch passes on 3rd and 5. If he gets sick and I can't have him that week, or I don't have him in practice, or something goes wrong, yeah, that's a problem. As long as I have a guy who's as good as him, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, the vaccination issue is an issue because I got to play and I got to win every week, especially if I'm the Buffalo Bills or I'm the New England Patriots. Now, was this the reason that they made the decision on Cam Newton? I don't think so. I think that they made the decision that they were going with Mac Jones. And once they decided to go with Mac Jones, they did this. Is the fact that Cam is not vaccinated hurt him a little bit in the realm of, I have to have a dependable player, especially for a backup? Yes, it does. Okay, as he moves forward. I don't think it's the center of this decision.
I agree with you 100% here. Finally here, Jace, who do you believe should start in San Francisco?
If you're trying now, I'm betting on Jimmy Garoppolo. I've watched Trey Lance. I mean, nice looking player. I don't think he's ready. I mean, this dude played, 16 games in college?
Yeah, I think.
North Dakota. Yeah, I don't even. Right. Against vastly inferior competition. Look, there's some. I follow baseball really well. And I can tell you there's some guys who are playing single A baseball right now who are going to be studs. Okay. They're going to be really good players. Okay. If I put them in the major leagues this September, they ain't going to do anything. All right. Because they're just not ready. Now, is Trey Lance closer than that? A little bit. Is he ready to lead a team that has Super Bowl expectations? I doubt it. Again, Mac Jones is closer to that because Mac Jones played at Alabama. He played in the SEC. He played in big games. He has been under those situations. He's more ready to play today, and I get that. Trey Lance may be a better player long term. He's not ready today. It's too big a jump, logically. He might do it. He might completely blow my assessment out of the water, but I'm willing to bet on my side of it.
Absolutely. I'm with you here. Don't forget, folks, Jason Cole's book here. Make sure you go out and get it, A Relentless Life. Brother, I appreciate you stepping in with us. Thank you, my friend.
Anytime, dude. Be good.
You got it. That is my friend, Jason Cole. We apologize a little bit there for the connection there too with Jason too. I mean, I agree. I think there's going to be a market for Cam, but I also happen to agree that I do not believe that it's got anything to do with this COVID-19 protocol issue. Absolutely not. 203, how you doing, brother? All good, man. Michael says, give Jalen a year. If he struggles, we have Flacco or Minshew to carry us through, and we can use one of the 3 first-round picks to grab a guy. Kid from North Carolina, kid from Oklahoma comes to mind as you're talking that those 2 guys will probably be in the top 5 when it comes to selecting for next year's draft. Could the Eagles get into that position where they would move up? The kid from Carolina is pretty good. I think the kid's name is Rattler from Oklahoma. I think he's a pretty good-looking player. Just Mike says, I say at least 8 games. See, I'm more like there, Mike. I listen. I get where people are going here with Jalen Hurts because he was a second-round pick. Now, let me ask you this and throw this into the equation. Is this because everybody was screaming for him last year because they saw the play of Carson Wentz? Okay? It's because then we're talking wishful thinking stuff. Mike says second half of the season is situational. If he could still win the division, Jalen playing crappy, it's Minshew time. Dude, I think, hey, I'll tell you something. I'm going to make a prediction, and I know this is not going to be a very, very popular decision. I say Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback by week 6. I say he's starting quarterback by week 6. Am I wrong? More experienced? Clearly more accurate. By far, last year, this guy threw the ball on a absolutely crappy-ass Jacksonville team, over 65% completion percentage. If the Eagles go 0-6 and Hurts doesn't look good, I think Minshew starts game 7. Okay? So we're kind of in there, right, JJ? Hey, and you know what? Wait a minute here. I want to make sure I'm doing something here because I want to make sure that everybody understands something here. Please know this. I pray for every single guy that gets a chance to play in the National Football League to succeed. I'm not praying for anybody's failure here. You know what? Watch this. If Jalen Hurts proves me wrong, that's not how I do things. I swear to you. Everybody, hold me accountable to that. Mark the tape. I have, in my 27 years of broadcasting, I have never done this. Well, it's just luck. Those are those old guys that do that crap. I don't do that. Here, I'll give you the for instance so that you can apply it to Jalen on what I did with Lamar Jackson. And I know some of you have heard this. I basically went like this. Hey, man, this guy sucks. He is terrible. He can't hit the broadside of a barn. Dude came out, was the MVP, led the NFL in touchdown passes, had 1,000 yards, and I went, holy cow, this guy's winning 80% of his games. He and I text each other back and forth, or excuse me, we tweet each other back and forth, and I told him, I said, dude, you're some leader. And by the way, you know what really pisses me off the most about Lamar Jackson? He's a South Florida guy. How the hell did that guy get away from Miami and get to Louisville? Always pisses me off when I see South Florida guys leaving. Here, this goes to my boy Krause. Almost the entire secondary of the Alabama Crimson Tide football team, national champion team, was from South Florida. Guys that started in that title game. Good homie Providence. You son of that's good, man. You must have watched the Big Sills rant. Thank you. I couldn't even make it to the draft if you're black. Okay, hey. JJ, I'm just going to tell you, man, I root for everybody. I swear to you. But what I also do is I'm a realist. I don't sit around and just throw rose petals at people's feet here and go, hell yeah, let's just hope he's this. And I'm not a hoper. I'm not a wisher. I'm not a maybe. I hate that stuff. Maybe, hoping. So you wouldn't want to really take a look at Cam Newton on being an Eagle. Why? If Washington signs him and you have Cam Newton in Washington, the Washington team can not only be the favorites to win the NFC East, but they could actually be a team that could kick some cans down the road. I'm not saying make it to an NFC championship game, but that defense is awful good. Their O-line is awful good. He's the best coach in the division, too. How about if you're the New York Giants? Are you sold on Daniel Jones? Howard Eskin hates Daniel Jones. Okay? And by the way, I would even throw this at you. Howie's name and the Eagles are in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. What does that tell you? So let's play this out here. Smile says Cam's haircut's too weird. His gear's weird sometimes. I saw him come out one time. He was dressed, and I was like, honey, I think you have an outfit like what Cam's wearing right now. Cam was wearing this crazy-ass outfit. And I looked over at my wife. I go, don't you have a scarf like that? And don't you wear your scarf over your hair like that? I was like, she's like, I do. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was just keeping score here. Haircut's too weird? Yeah, but Cam's styling, man. Cam's the only guy that can pull that off, too. He's really the only guy that can pull that off. I think Cam's dope, man. I like the way he dresses. I could never get away with it. Look at me. Okay? T-shirts and flip-flops. Big sales. I don't. Okay? Washington is already my dark horse team to make the NFC Championship game. Whew. Yeah, man. I like Washington. I'm with you. I like Washington. Remember something too, I got a little bit of insight on some of the cuts that the Eagles had and some of the teams around the NFL. By the way, there's a conversation going around the league right now that the Texans are not going to make a move when it comes to Deshaun Watson before the 4:00 Eastern deadline. So that's obviously come and gone now. So he's not been dealt. But the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Panthers, the Broncos, I'm sure there's a dark horse team out there like the Raiders, maybe Washington. If you're Washington and you put Deshaun Watson on your team, you're going to the Super Bowl. He's a difference maker. He's going to the Super Bowl. That guy could put, if Deshaun Watson was on the San Francisco 49ers, the 49ers would be in the Super Bowl. That's a fact. Wick says he's dealing with the Houston FBI right now. So, Wick, let me ask you, that's a good point. Let me ask you something. Since when is the FBI brought in on sexual misconduct cases locally? What is that? I thought that was the local district attorney and the local police department's responsibilities. And a state attorney general. So the FBI just parachuted in. And 22 cases. How do you know it's not extortion? That's usually what FBI people work on. Extortion cases. And you know what else they work on? Remember that Bubba Wallace fiasco? Hoax. Remember that fiasco hoax by NASCAR? With that whole noose thing at Talladega? 20-some-odd FBI guys went down there and said this. There's nothing racist to this. the Talladega garages all have nooses on it to pull the garage doors down. There was nothing to it. They work on civil rights cases. They don't work on sexual misconduct and local potential rape cases. That's not what they do. Oh, but you'll take Michael Vick. You took Vick. And for the record, I'd say this to you. Why would you not want Deshaun Watson on your team? You haven't proven anything to me that guy's guilty. I'm not like the rest of the media guys. I don't do this. Well, come on, Big Sills. There's 22 cases. Well, then why isn't he in jail? I need 3. Actually, I need 1. You rape somebody? Hey, dude, I'm with you. I love dogs too. I'm an animal lover. But I'll tell you one thing that I have become friends with Michael Vick because I think he is trying to work on his life. I give him an opportunity. I'll never forgive him. But you know what? I'm all right with Michael Vick today. Mike's trying to change his life. I give everybody an opportunity, man. Everybody makes mistakes. You know this? The only people I told people this, the only people I hate in the world are Nazis. Okay? I don't really hate anybody. It's not my style. Because that would mean that you really get under my skin. Not too many people get under my skin. Brotherly love, man. Bang. Do me a favor. Krause, put that brotherly love 215 up there. Put that 215 up there. That brotherly love 215, man. See if we can grab him up there. See this, folks? Right there, baby. Right there. Got to prove himself. Brotherly love, bang. And by the way, see how simple that is? He's got to prove it to himself. He's got to prove it to everybody in the locker room. Eagles going to blow out the Chiefs and the Bucks. Here, I'm going to write you, dude, 53. Here, usually I would kill something like that, but you know what I'm going to do? Hold on, dude. I'm going to start writing you guys' names down. Dude says this. Dude 345. Going to blow out the Bucks and Chiefs. 53-14. When's the last time the Eagles put 50 points up? Someone tell me, do you know? When's the last time they scored 50 points in a game? I had to be someday back in during the Donovan McNabb days, right? Maybe Randall days. 55 points. I think Donovan threw up 60 on Mike Canes once. That game against the Skin. Denver 17. Get out. They threw 50 up. Really? Go back and look at that. Big Bird says, we better pray we could put 21 on those teams. Did Foles get 50 on? Oh, did he? I thought it was high 40s. 50, was it? No way. Krause, is that right? Was there 50 in the Super Bowl on the Patriots? I forget. Was there 50 on the Patriots? I thought it was 48. Or was it 53? No way. What was the score of the Eagles and Patriots game?
The Eagles lost 35.
No. Super Bowl. What was the score of the Super Bowl game between the Eagles and Patriots?
17-10.
Nah, man, that's not what I'm talking about. Detroit playoffs, Eagles won. Okay, let's make the point here, okay, and circle back here. Okay? Let's just circle back here. Putting 50 up on the Chiefs and the Bucks. You think you're going to put 50 points up on the Bucks? 41-33, that's right. Oh, Oh, man. Come on, dog. Come on, man. Ezekiel, don't be hard on Mike Vick and China dogs are eating everything. Come on, man. Dude. Come on. It's sick. Funny. But, okay, way too soon. Way too soon. 51 on Denver and 17. All right, I'll take your word for it. Okay? Put 50 points on any team in the National Football League. That is a great number. You know, we've been throwing this around for the last, couple days here. Like, what game do you look at where you're evaluating Hurts? Do you make the – I think you run and follow me here. And here, I think you do this. Everything – I don't think anybody's wrong in what you guys are saying. Give Jalen the opportunity to succeed, okay? Give him the chance to succeed. Put everything in. However, here's one track. Okay? Let's see if we can, behind the scenes and under the radar, go after Deshaun Watson. Let's do this track. Let's evaluate the upcoming NFL prospects that are going to go into the draft. Because I'm going to tell you something with Howie's. See, Wick, here's what you got to think. Okay. What you don't want to be caught in is the cesspool of the league and in the cesspool of the draft. It constantly goes around. You hang out at 6 wins, 7 wins, and it puts you in the middle of the draft. Okay? You don't want to be there. You want to be up high if you suck so that you can go out in the draft and get yourself one of the quarterbacks that are going to be in the upcoming draft. Okay? You don't see what most teams do. They're doing what the Eagles are doing right now. They're kind of hanging out in the middle of the pack. They're kind of good and kind of bad. You don't want to be kind of good and kind of bad. You're in the middle of the draft. What were they last year? What was it, 11, 12, somewhere in there? That's a little higher because they were 4-11. Okay? They're 4-11-1 last year. They had 4 wins. And when you're kind of in that, you're going to be higher up, obviously, right? But you want to be up in that top 10 so that you could potentially move up to get yourself a guy if you have to. Okay? If you have to. Jalen Hurts has worked, Ezekiel says that Jalen Hurts has worked extremely hard. Let's see if it pays off. There's a point to what he's saying, and I'll say this to you, okay? You did put a 2 up on him. We're not talking about a 5th or 6th round draft choice. You did put a 2nd round, which is a big pick. And you, if I'm not mistaken, you moved up to get him, right? You had the 6th overall, then you traded back. That's correct. That's right. That's correct. You're right. Thank you, Will. That's right. You traded back. And actually, that's a pretty damn good move, too. You trade back and you get Devontae Smith. Pretty good. It's a pretty good move. Okay? It is. So you guys would not be in favor of looking at bringing Cam Newton in and working him out? You think Cam's better than anything they have in the building right now? Some of you said earlier in the show, no way. Cam better runner than Jalen? Yeah, today. Yeah. How about this? You think Cam's more accurate? Yeah. You think Cam's a better leader? I don't know about that. I actually like Jalen Hurts as the leader. I think it's pretty comparable. He's 10 times more experienced. Dude, that's a great pick. That's a great comment right there. Carl says no. He thinks Jalen's better than Cam Newton. Hurts is going to waste. He's a second-team guy. Whew. Wow, man. There is no way you know what? Maybe I'm jaded because I'm a Cam fan. Okay? Maybe so. But I just don't see that. He would be better than last year. Yeah. Dude, when I saw him play against the Eagles, he kicked the crap out of them. He was down the field. And I know the Eagles guys didn't play anybody. All right, so that's not his fault. He still looked good. All right. I have to take a timeout here, guys. So any questions, do me a favor. Make sure I see them so we can continue our conversation. We're going to try to catch up with Mike Golick in hour number 2, too. He's working, doing something on TV, and Mike's going to try to see if he can step in. I'm not promising, but he said he's going to try to fit in for us. If he can't do it today, we'll do it another time this week here. So, again, we'll take your thoughts. I'll ask him what he thinks because every single person that I have brought on the program has said this about Jalen Hurts. I don't know. GW says Cam's arm is shot. I didn't think that in the preseason. I didn't. We'll take a timeout. You keep it here on the National Football Show.
As a hardworking American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Beyond Cooley Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Beyond Cooley Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show, Dan Sileo. Love all you guys, man. Thank you. We are going to try to catch up with Mike Golick. No promises. Mike said he's going to do his damnedest to try to fit in with us here, and we appreciate everybody coming aboard. Thank you, guys. You guys have made the show. I'll tell you something. Krause was nails on. You guys have improved the show. Now, know this, I don't always agree with anybody, okay? I rarely do. But some of you guys, I'll say this, man. I'll say this about your knowledge of the game. I haven't talked to a lot of people that have a lot of common sense with football. And the East Coast football fans and the fans that are on here on the National Football Show, you guys got your crap together here. You have to understand when you're talking sports talk in California, most of them, 90% of those people are wimps. Yeah, there's the beach. The Rams and Chargers. So soft. Sports talk is so soft on the West Coast. Actually, it's like lame talk. It's just completely lame talk. And when you're talking on the East Coast, you got intelligent folks, man, who got great passion, who love their civic pride teams. And it shows in your comments. There's no question. Right here, I will say this to you. Ken, you're welcome. I'll say this to you guys. And by the way, I'm not throwing – if you know anything about Big Sills, we don't throw a lot of compliments around. Okay, just not made that way. But I'll tell you this. It's been refreshing again to talk to people that will go like this. Sileo, you're full of you-know-what. Okay, well, tell me why. And then you guys back it up. Well, here's why. Why don't you give them a shot? And get this. It's the simplest response. They gave Brady a shot. They gave Kurt Warner a shot. They gave Russell Wilson a shot. Why not give Hurts a shot? We put a second rounder on it. Hello? Okay, over here, right? You're right. You're not wrong. There's, I always say this to people. The one thing that we don't ever want to do, we don't ever want to criticize process, because that's the dumbest thing going, is process. Hey, real quick before we continue the conversation, I have a question to ask you guys. So the National Football League, did you see what they did today? They have a sports book now. They've partnered up with MGM Properties and gambling. Tony Dungy, of course, because he's old dude, get off my lawn stuff, doesn't see that this is also economics for the players. Okay? This is more opportunity. And here's Dungy's old way of doing things. Well, we spent lifetimes on making sure that, the players stood away from gambling. You truly think players stood away from gambling, not going to casinos, not betting on their own teams, not betting on themselves? Who cares? Well, we may have people throwing – I actually like it. That means this. You could sit at Lincoln Financial and make a prop bet and go, I think Jalen Hurts throws 3 touchdowns in this half. And win yourself a couple $100 sitting there at the link. Makes the game more enjoyable. Not everybody's going to be a guy that's going to sit there and bet. I lived in Vegas, and I barely bet, dude. I lived in Vegas. I like living in Vegas. I started my broadcasting career in Vegas. Mike says Pete Rose needs to be a Hall of Famer. Mike, here, real quick on that. Guys, you never got the point, did you, about Pete Rose not being a Hall of Famer? Rose loves not being a Hall of Famer. He loves it. Why is that? Because if Rose was a Hall of Famer, he'd be just another Hall of Famer. Okay? You know how he makes money? The banished Hall of Famer. The man who's been kicked out of baseball. The man who bet on his own team. By the way, I got a Pete Rose signed baseball somewhere around here. Pete Rose makes money being the banned Hall of Fame guy. If he was just another Hall of Famer, he'd be making the same money as Roger Clemens or Barry Bonds or Mike Schmidt or any of these other dudes, Robin Yount. But because he's that guy, the band guy, he makes a killing. This guy's got a sports website that he deals with now in Vegas. I never got this, though. It's a lifetime ban. Well, why isn't Shoeless Joe in then? Guy's been dead for 100 years. Right? I mean, okay, if it's a lifetime ban, I think the guy's got the 3rd highest batting average career-wise in baseball history. Why don't you put that dude in? I don't know. Anyway, I actually like the gambling aspect. I'm not a gambler, but I like the aspect. More money for the players. Think about what you can do at games now, too. Dude, that's going to be great. There's a stadium casino now. Get it. Not at Lincoln Financial. I know this. Wrigley's trying to put a sports book in. Mike, interesting take. Yeah, man, he makes money being the band, dude. Kevin says, I think the best thing is good because you can really study the league and be a fan while making money. Hey, you guys want to know something about being the best Eagle? Who do you think the best Eagle analysts are? And this includes us in a way. Bingo. Bingo. JJ nailed it. Dude, those guys set the book. They set the lines. They put their millions of dollars up. Like this weekend, Mike Canes, I think it's 18.5. Okay? My Canes are getting 18.5 against Bama. They set the line. It's not some dude sitting in CBS going like this, like Boomer Esiason. Well, I think this is what has to happen with Falcons and Eagles. And, if they got to run the ball. And Vegas goes, here's the line. That's right, man. Good take, JJ. See, me and you got off to a little bumpy start, but it's all good, right, brother? How you doing? Oh, by the way, the money that Cam Newton leaves New England with is $3.5 million that was guaranteed to him in 2021. That was the money because remember, he did sign a contract extension, which gave him extra money. So out the door, he's getting $3.5 million. So that's going to be in his pocket as he goes around. Do you think he clears waivers? Because he signed a league minimum. I'd be shocked if that guy clears the league waivers. And then all the Corona pimps can go, well, was it really then COVID-19? And I love what people were saying. So you truly do not believe that he was not signed because or kept his job in New England because of COVID-19, knowing Belichick's background. Come on, man. Come on, right? Also, hey, another news that just came across the line, and there was a little bit of it last night. Looks like Saints and Packers are being moved to AT&T. Jerry's World, baby. Why don't you come up here and play? I think that's more like Bill Clinton, isn't it? Why don't you come up here, come up here and play. Use AT&T. Jerry's World. Packers and Saints. Guys get to come in here. Two great fan bases. That guy is a gangster. He is totally a gangster. You think he built that thing just for Cowboy games? I don't think so. Dan Marino used to, this is Smile, Dan Marino used to pick different teams to win on HBO. Oh, he did it all the time. And I think that's why he got fired, because he sucked at it. He put no effort. He put no effort into his preparation. Quite frankly, you want to hear something? That's why he really doesn't have a significant role with the Miami Dolphins. He's more like an ambassador guy. Okay? He's more like an ambassador guy. He didn't want to put the work in to truly be an executive like John Elway has. Elway's actually tried to do it. And for the record, you could say John has sucked all you want. 11 quarterback changes in Denver, even though you would throw this out there. Guy got to 2 Super Bowls and won one. I don't know. Would you take that as a trade-in for 6 sucky seasons for 2 AFC championships and a Super Bowl? I don't know. I'm pretty good with that. Let's see here. Oh, Pro's back. How you doing, bro? I'm only making the team. He's the most surprising guy who made the team. I remember something, too. Okay? When a guy like that makes the team, they look at effort. And on top of that, you got to have guys like that on your football team that don't make a lot of money. You've got to have guys on your football team like that. I know this is hard for people to take, but they're going to keep lesser guys from from 46 down, you've got to fill out your roster with guys who don't make a lot of money, who give you great effort, that are cheap, and get this, that are kind of close to the dude they're replacing from a year ago. It's called balancing your cap. Okay? It's called balancing the cap. Mike, he sells a lot of cars. I heard he had to sell that dealership. I like finding a team having a slugfest, then going on the road on a short week and pound that home cover. Hey, dude, JJ, I love teams that run the rock, play tough defense, and are great in the old and D lines. That Eagle team a couple of years ago, I was in love with that team. They beat the living doorknobs off of the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And you know what it was? It was an old school 15-round fight. Patriots kept jabbing away, and the Eagles were throwing haymakers. Bang, body punch, hit you in the arm. They were like George Foreman. George was never trying to win. We had George Foreman on the National Football Show a couple months ago. George was never trying to win rounds. He was trying to win the fight. And that's what the Eagles did when they had that Super Bowl team. Dude, they weren't trying to win quarters. They were trying to win the game. And they get you in the fourth quarter. What we used to call black and blue games, that's a black and blue game. And you better be padded up because you're going to get your ass kicked, even if you win. Those are the kind of games when you played that Eagle team of 3 years ago, that Super Bowl team, that's the kind of game you go like this. Hey, man, even if I win, I know I'm getting the hell kicked out of me. And if you let a couple scores up, man, they could beat you down. I think that Colts team is a lot like that right now. Ty McGill or Hassan Ridgeway can't be that much more expensive. Mills putting the lights out at the Browns' house in the Super Bowl. Man, I can't believe you guys wouldn't want to do this. You guys are really okay. What is the most redeeming thing on why you want Jalen Hurts as your starting quarterback? What's the most redeeming thing you see? Watch this. Do you know why I want Aaron? I'll throw examples out on what I'm looking for. Here's why I'd want Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. He's the most accurate guy I've ever seen in NFL history. I've never seen a guy throw 44 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. I've never seen that differential. Look at his career. It's insanity. Has he thrown 100 picks in his career? Has he thrown 100 interceptions? I don't even know if he's thrown 100 interceptions in his career. He's the most accurate passer I've ever seen. Why do I want Tom Brady? He's the greatest winner I've ever seen. Why would I want Russell Wilson? Well, he's one of the best competitors I've seen. Why would I want Deshaun Watson? He's one of the most complete quarterbacks, running, throwing, toughness that I've seen in a long time at 25. So what is the redeeming thing you see about Hurts? Give me something that's his identity. Every quarterback has an identity. And the one you can't have is because I like him. That doesn't weigh into evaluation because I like him. No disrespect, man. I like a lot of people too. And I'd want certain people on my team as well. But I'm going to take the better player all the time. I'm always going to take the better player. Whether I think the guy is a superstar character guy or not. Jimmy Johnson used to have a philosophy about that. I'll share something with you here. We had so many issues at the University of Miami. Rape cases, firearm cases, people stealing stuff, breaking and entering, drugs. Jimmy never suspended any of them guys. Nobody got suspended. But he wouldn't start you. he would take a couple quarters away. He took the game away from us. He took the game away. What's it about not having us on the team? Coach Michael Irvin, man. Look at Urban Meyer. Coaches Tim Tebow, and he's got Aaron Hernandez on his college team. Look at Bill Belichick. People are like, well, Belichick, he looks for high-character guys. You mean like Aaron Hernandez? Corey Dillon? Are you kidding? Really? Well, don't throw that out there like that. Don't throw that out there like that when it's convenient. Ezekiel. Dan, isn't it amazing Brady was Ezekiel. Amazing? I'm trying to think of a later round draft choice. I could think of some free agents. Kurt Warner wasn't drafted. Tony Romo wasn't drafted. Now, Romo and Kurt Warner, okay, right. I mean, I know, completely different. But still, Romo's like the all-time passing leader in Cowboys history. Okay? He's the all-time passer and quarterback in Cowboys. He's got every record there is. I mean, he wasn't drafted. That's an overachiever. But to your point, Ezekiel, I mean, 6th rounder and 7 titles, 10 Super Bowl appearances is freaking amazing. It's unbelievable. If Brady goes back to a Super Bowl this year, do you understand that every year he started in the NFL, Brady would have went to the game every other year? You will never. He is the modern day Bill Russell. You know the guy who won all those championships with the Celtics back in the 60s? Some of you may not know. You may have to read a book or Google the guy. But Bill Russell is the greatest team sport champion of all time in American sports. Okay? And Brady is the modern day Bill Russell. He's just the modern day Bill Russell, man. 7 titles. I think Russell's got 9. And if you add his 2 championships at the University of San Francisco, I think the 14 years that he played college and in the NBA, I think he's got 11 of the 14 years, something really sick like that. Brady's got a national championship ring too. Wasn't the starter at the Michigan team, but he was on that Michigan team that won the national championship. I think that team split it that particular year. Eagles. Hey, Dan, hope everyone is well today. Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you coming aboard with us here. We've been throwing this question out. Would you look at Cam Newton as a potential backup for Jalen Hurts? I said this, and I made a prediction. I think Gardner Minshew is going to be the starting quarterback. I would say by week 6. By week 6. Ezekiel says, I remember Russell. Okay. I was really young. I remember Bill Russell as a coach for the Sonics. I don't remember him playing for the Celtics. That's a little bit before my time. Pro says Jalen has the ability to lead grown men. He does. I like that character about him. So you call him a leader then. He can motivate the team, okay? Hey, okay, DA. Lawrence Taylor is Bill Belichick's all-time favorite player. He's coach. High character isn't always needed. That is such a great take today. No one is. Colin Cowherd and everybody kept saying, well, in New England, they do things the right way. Lawrence Taylor used to show up to team meetings high in cocaine and been out all night long partying. And he still started them that Sunday. High character? Great take. By the way, may I say this? And may I say this with all respect? That's a great take. Dude, you're damn right. That was a great take. Don't talk to me about character when you coach Lawrence Taylor. Who is a better football player, Tom Brady or LT? Wow. Who's Belichick's greatest player? Brady or Lawrence Taylor? Eagle fans. Ron Jaworski, man, ate a lot of helmet from 56. Dude, I think LT love hitting him and Theismann. Woo! Man. Next time I get Joe on. Oh, by the way, Joe sent me a book. I got to show you guys. I didn't show it to you yet, did I? Should have won more than 6. Thanks for coming aboard, brother. Tom Brady's better than Lawrence Taylor. Tom Brady gave him those rings. LT gave him 2. He was a defensive coach. Man, I got to take a timeout. We're going to try to hook up with Mike Golick. We'll continue our conversation, having a lot of fun with you guys here. Hang in there. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
As a hardworking American, you've never experienced how tough life can be until now. A catastrophic injury while working on the job. A personal injury from someone else's negligence. Turned away by other law firms in the region who didn't bother to learn your story. It's time to meet the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm and managing partner Brian Fritz. Badly injured? Call the Fritz & Bianculli Law Firm. Find out why they say, "We got this."
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at IBEW98.org.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show, Dan Sileo. As promised. So Joe Theismann sent me this book. I think you guys will like this. Big Joe sent it here. Dan, my best always. To a super guy, enjoy the book, your friend. Super Bowl champion, Joe Theismann. How you doing? Not bad, huh? Right? Joe just sent me the book. Talk about one of the toughest guys on the planet. Love Joe Theismann. Absolutely one of my favorite people, man. Oh, dude. He and Gordie Howe sent me a book years ago. He and his wife signed a book for me. By the way, I don't really read. I'm kidding. Oh, man. Ken says goat. I know, man. Facts. Tangibles. Like, look at Lawrence Taylor, man. Had every character flaw there was off the field. You think you're not going to sign that guy because that guy – watch this. Would you have played Lawrence Taylor? This kind of goes into what Cam Newton is with the COVID-19. Bill Parcells played a cokehead. In theory. He played a cokehead. And by the way, that's been well documented. That's not slander. How many times has Lawrence Taylor been arrested for drugs, been suspended? That's not slander. That's part of the book. By the way, he's my favorite football player in the history of football. Okay? So you think Bill really played into – it's a great take. Yeah. Must have been better on special teams. And cheaper. And cheaper. Remember, money plays into the issue there. Smile. Money plays into that issue there when you're talking about them keeping two wide receivers over other guys. Okay? Look at the money that you're spending on your two guys, Rieger and Devontae Smith. Okay? And I don't know this. Is there any money still owed on Alshon Jeffrey's deal and Deshaun Jackson's deal? Is there any dead money on those guys, or were they just cut loose? Somebody help me out on that. I don't really know what the money is on that. There could be dead money on those two guys. So you've got two high draft choices with high salaries, and you may have dead money on those two dudes. That's why you got to keep the lesser guys. And I tell you this, when it's close, organizations are going to go with the younger and with the cheaper. Look, I'm not telling you guys anything different than what happens in your own businesses. You don't think your boss can do this? If your boss could find somebody that was younger and cheaper than you, do you think he'd replace you? Of course he would. That's the nature of the business. That's the nature of people getting ahead. Okay? Even at the expense, but this is why some companies don't get ahead either. Because what they'll do is they won't elevate and develop from within. And that's why they're stuck in that kind of good as a business, never great. Because as Warren Buffett says, the true value of your organization is the people in your organization. That's what really makes organizations value. You know, and I've told you this. I've had Warren Buffett on my radio show numerous times. Warren Buffett will tell you flat out, it's not about the widget that you're selling or you're pushing. It's about the people that push the widget. You invest here. You know, Warren Buffett, he was 91 years old yesterday. I sent him a happy birthday email. And, you know, he drinks 7 Cokes a day. He's the biggest shareholder in Coke. He has like a McMuffin every morning. And by the way, he's a massive shareholder in McDonald's. And he also has 2 ice creams during the week. Okay? He owns a massive stake in Dairy Queen. All the things he likes, he invests in. It's funny, man. People make investing in people and in business harder than it really is. GW, hey, Dan, when you play for the Hurricanes, who was one of the quarterbacks that gave you guys fits? We broke Troy Aikman's leg when he was at Oklahoma. So we took care of that one. Let me think. Yeah, we broke Aikman's leg. That's how he transferred to UCLA. That Jamal Holloway kid, man, at Oklahoma, he could play. Won a national championship, too, as a freshman in 85. I'm trying to think. Kerwin was pretty decent. Jim Harbaugh, man, was a tough dude to play against, especially at Michigan. He was a good football player. We destroyed Jeff George. I don't think he was very good at all. Jamal Holloway, man, College Football Hall of Famer. What a great player. Like I said, won a national title. Big Bert says, I think Fulker improved through his career to be inconsistently, and it shows because he was no shows at camp. I don't see him becoming anything more than a backup wide receiver. Well, that's going to be up to the coach. And once again, too, I would say this to you, that he must have been kept because of money issues. Mike said that Warren Buffett doesn't go to bars with dudes. Correct. Who was a quarterback at State? Charlie Ward didn't get to start yet. It was these younger dudes, Danny McManus, I think, and this other guy, Chip Ferguson. Then Charlie Ward stepped in. Charlie was on those teams, but he was a little bit after us. Yeah. I had Testaverde and Kozar. You know what's crazy? In my time, we had Jim Kelly, Vinny Testaverde, and Bernie Kozar and Steve Walsh as our quarterback room. Do you think you could have a quarterback room in the pros like that? By the way, Krause, do you think Alabama had anything like that in the – oh, wait a minute. So let's take a look at this for a second. So Mac Jones is starting for the Patriots, right? Jalen Hurts is starting for the Eagles, right? And Tua Tagovailoa is starting for the Dolphins. Bama's got 3 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Wait a minute. Hey, and do me a favor. I don't need to hear it, Krause, okay? 3 starting quarterbacks from Alabama. Is that right? 2 in the AFC East, too. Is that right? It sure is. I like Holloway. He was nice. Oh, GW, he was nice, man. What are you guys in Philly talking college football for? You guys don't know college football. You guys hate it. It's all NFL there. I asked somebody from Philly, do you know where Temple is? He's like, yeah, the Masonic Temple's around the corner. It's near Cherry Hill. What? Oh, by the way, Sileo, that's New Jersey, just in case you're keeping score. Is that like near Pennsauken or anything? Whatever, guy. I love that attitude. You should see my guy Krause talking to me. Wait a minute, just let me finish my point. Oh, okay. let me finish my point. Oh, okay, go ahead, dude. Please finish your point. They were in the same room too. JJ, they were, man. They were in the same room. Yeah. Hey, Sileo, that's Jersey, just in case you're keeping score. It's not Philly. Oh, okay. A.J. McCarron in the NFL, his chick is unbelievable. Have you seen her on Instagram? Holy cow, is this girl nice. I think he's married to her, so I got to be careful. Man, that's the girl I think that if I'm not didn't Brent Musburger like oogle all over her, man? And that's why you're the starting quarterback at Alabama, is because you get that. I just like, nil payments or not, I'll take her. How you doing? By the way, with Brady too. Brady's going after another championship. Hey, will you do me a favor when I grow up? Can I be Tom Brady? So let me get this right. He's been to 10 Super Bowls. He's got 7 championships. And he's got also another great trophy, his wife. I mean, so he's married to the greatest model of all time. He's got 7 championships. I mean, right? Dear God, when I grow up, can I be Tom Brady? I don't know I'll ever grow up. But that guy. Oh, and by the way, when you hear Howard Eskin talking, Belichick, he hates that guy. I think it's funny, too. AJ is always winning no matter what. With Miss America, hey, dude, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Speaking of quarterbacks, you see Josh Rosen made the Atlanta Falcons? This guy's been on like a circus ride. Arizona, San Francisco. I don't know where the hell else he's been. Tampa. I think Miami. This guy's going to be the new Ryan Fitzpatrick pretty soon. This guy was taken so high also. I mean, that was the Cardinals' number one pick. This guy was a number one pick, and he's been on like 100 teams already. Bootylicious. I like it. DA says, what is Brady chasing? He's done it all. I'll tell you something, DA. It's a great comment. And here it is. Guys like that are never satisfied. They're just never satisfied. It's the game, which means he's miserable. Tom Brady is never going to do this. Well, I've done it. Thank you so much. And be like LeBron. See, LeBron's content with what he's done. He should be. Brady's never going to be content. Okay? Untouchable status. Mike, you're right. Untouchable. There's never going to be a guy in the history of the league, including Patrick Mahomes, that's ever going to be in that conversation with Tom Brady. He wins one more, he's doubled Montana and Bradshaw. You're never going to see the likes of Tom Brady ever again. Just like you're never going to see the likes of Tiger Woods again. You know how we're always doing this with Tiger? Oh, this Rory McIlroy. Yeah, he's a tremendous talent. Just a spectacular talent. And we're always looking for the next guy to try to go. He's the next Tiger, and he's not. That's what we're going to be doing here to Brady. He's the next Brady. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see. You know how many things went perfect for Brady and lucky? What if Bledsoe doesn't get hurt that night by Mo Lewis? What if that never happens and Brady never steps on the field? How do you know he's not Kurt Warner and he just drifts around the league for a couple of years before he gets settled in the place? Or maybe he never does. That's luck. '69 says, that's how I see Jalen's mentality. It's never enough. Okay. I like Jalen's mentality. Wentz was the worst. Okay. You let a guy that was a second-round draft choice upset you. I think that's really weak. I agree with you guys on that one. Marvin says Carson Wentz will shock the world. He will show us all that he's – Marvin, I'm with you. Marvin, I think he's going to lead the Colts to the AFC Championship game. And by the way, if you're an Eagle fan, don't piss on that. That means your pick turns into a number one draft choice because as of right now, it's a 2 conditional. It's not a 1. You think it's a 1. You're being told it's a 1. It's not. The conditions are this. They don't make it to the playoffs, he's got to play 75% of the games. They make it to the playoffs, he's got to play 70%. Better hope he plays well. Arnold was awesome. His dog Mulligan was even better. DJ Scooter. What if they ruled that game a fumble? In that Tuck game. Dude, right. Great call. Right. And all of a sudden, hey, by the way, 2 things I've never heard of in my life until this whole thing popped up. You know what it was? The Tuck rule and the commissioner's exempt list. I was like, what's that? I had never heard that. Colts have no one to throw to. That football team is more of a run team, though, man. Jonathan, that team won 11 games. And I'll tell you what, I thought they played pretty damn well in the postseason last year. I thought they played well. Trick says, do you prefer Jalen Hurts as number 2 or number 1? Number 2. Number 2. That's what he was drafted for. He was never drafted by he was never drafted for them to sit there and go like this. Well, you know, he's going to be a guy that's going to go in there and be the number 1 guy. He was never brought in for that. Raiders got robbed. Hey, the immaculate reception, the Tuck rule. And I think Al was alive for both of those. I think he was around for the Tuck rule. I think he was, yeah. I was hired by Al Davis. And I was hired by Al to be on the broadcast team. I did the Raiders pre- and post-game show. when they moved back to Oakland, and Al was always, man, the Raiders were always getting jobbed by the league. They come up with these infamous rules. They always Al hated the NFL front offices. He hated New York. Just hated them. And now everybody wants to build new stadiums to move their team. That was because of Al Davis. Raiders do suck, dude. John Gruden is taking over. They're 19-29, and they got a TV general manager in Mike Mayock. I'm sorry. I don't see it. Okay? I don't see it. This guy was a big TV guy. And by the way, have you guys seen how many people think John Gruden is a great coach? Let's see. He won a Super Bowl, Sills. So did Brian Billick. And I actually think Brian Billick's a damn good coach. John Gruden's like 3 games over 500. And the rest of the stuff is this. Quarterback school, and I got it all. And, you got to be tough, guy. Like, he talks like he's got a patch over his eye. I'm the Raider. Guy's a gimmick. Do you think Nick Foles would make a good head coach in the NFL? Well, let's take a look at that for a second. I think there's a point to be made. Was Doug Peterson the winningest coach in Eagle history? How many division titles did Doug win? Was it 2, 3? NFC title? Super Bowl? Is he a backup quarterback? Yeah. You think Frank Reich's making you think he's making out to, to be a pretty decent looking coach so far in Indy? Yeah. Okay, who just went in the Hall of Fame. Won 2 Super Bowls. Guy the Raiders. Okay? He was a backup quarterback. I'm trying to think. A lot of guys were backup quarterbacks and defensive players. Okay? Tom Flores is who I was thinking of. Tom Flores was a backup quarterback. Bud Grant was a backup quarterback. There's a lot of guys like that. The backup quarter. Hey, Sean Payton, backup quarterback. He was. He's a backup quarterback, I think, for the Bears. Yeah. I like guys. You were run by backup quarterbacks in Philadelphia to that Super Bowl title. Jason Garrett. By the way, here's something too. I thought Jason Garrett was going to be in a conversation to get that Eagles job. Here's why I say this to you, okay? Follow me here. I know people are going, Sills, Jason Garrett. You think that football team in Dallas looks better with or without Jason Garrett? And he had to manage Jerry. Wouldn't you like to see what Jason Garrett can do, not having Jerry Jones squatted on his shoulder, telling him, making every single freaking move for him? I get it. This guy was on like the GI Bill. Didn't win a crap load of games. Well, he did, actually. He's got a damn good winning record. Okay? He's got a damn good winning record. And he had to deal with Jerry and Steven. I'd like to see him get another opportunity. Ezekiel says, I agree with you about Gruden. Jim Plunkett was a starter the most of his career. New England, San Francisco, then he got to the Raiders. He was a backup a little bit in Oakland. He was in LA. D.A. says, Doug was a decent coach. I don't think we needed to let him go and Carson go. I think Doug Peterson wanted to go. I think he had it with people, doing this to him, making him into a puppet. I don't think he enjoyed that, especially when they asked him to fire the receiver coach. Isn't it funny? They asked him to fire the receiver coach in Philly. Then they hire a receiver coach. You think that's not the ultimate slap in the face? I mean, right? You wanted Doug Peterson to fire your receiver coach, then they hire one. Wait a minute. Maybe they wanted to hire Nick Sirianni and bring Nick Sirianni in off the Frank Reich's staff. How do you know this wasn't going to happen? Wait a minute. I never even thought about this. Tell me if you guys think I'm smoking hash here. So the front office, when they were trying to deal Carson Wentz, I never thought about this. Maybe they were going to take responsibilities on play calling away from Doug Peterson and all, and bring in Nick Sirianni as the wide receiver / offensive coordinator for the Eagles. And that's where they were trying to make room for him. Does that make sense? I'll say it again to you. And by the way, we had Frank Reich on the show. What do you say, Krause? 3 months ago? And they had dual conversations going. They were talking about trading Wentz, and they were giving recommendations from Indy to the Eagles on Nick Sirianni. And what ended up getting Doug Peterson pushed out the door? He wouldn't. And you know where I got this from? Howard Eskin said, get this, Howard Eskin, he came out and he said this. Well, they wanted Doug to fire. They wanted Doug to fire his wide receiver coach. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. They were going to bring in Nick Sirianni as the new OC, and they were going to replace Doug Peterson with Nick Sirianni anyway. By the way, you know this is happening. Maybe 5 years, 4 years from now, Frank Reich's going to be the coach of the Eagles one day. You know, I'm just saying. I mean, I got that from Howard Eskin. Ruiz says Doug couldn't call plays. He sucked at it. Rick was the reason we won the Super Bowl. Agreed. See, you know how Frank designs plays? We had Boomer Esiason on the show here, the National Football Show. Frank designs plays to personalities. He constructs an offense around that personality of that guy. It's actually more detailed than you think. I love it. GW says, so Dan, what did you think about Russell Wilson when he was drafted? Everybody doubted him. Okay, you're making the comparison to Jalen. Fair. GW, what did I think of Russell Wilson? I thought he was a backup quarterback coming out of Wisconsin. They took him in the third round, and the rest is history. But here's the deal. When Russell Wilson stepped on the field in Seattle, he's never looked back. And on top of that, 3 years later, they won a Super Bowl. And when you saw him play, he's never had a losing season in Seattle since he's been a starting quarterback. The difference is when I saw Jalen play. Now, wait a minute. Let me be fair here to Jalen. Jalen had to deal with COVID-19. Okay? I've always got to remember that. I've got to remember that. Because that's part of the evaluation. Wait, you got to throw that in. So, GW, to your point, okay, Russell never had anything like that to deal with. It was almost like another opponent, right? Would we not agree? COVID-19 has been like another opponent. Diaz says Frank was the head coach. It would be great, but he's going to do big things in Indy. I agree with you. We don't know Jalen's ceiling. So do you think Jalen could turn out to be Dak Prescott? Dak's really worked at his game, hasn't he? He's really worked at it. Now, wait a minute. Alexis, hang on here. He didn't have an O-line. I'm being told it's the best O-line, one of the best O-lines in the NFL. Now, it was injured, okay? Okay. It was injured. See, I don't see the arm either. Big Bird said that, Dak's gotten You're talking about a guy who could throw the ball. I'll tell you something. We know I talked to Dan Mullen and people who have been around Dak Prescott, and I'll say this to you. I think that Dak Prescott has improved every single year since his freshman year when he was at Mississippi State. And someone correct me, didn't Dak get Mississippi State to a number 1 ranking? Am I wrong when I say that? What didn't Mississippi State get to it like at one time? Weren't they the number 1 team in the country? I mean, and Dan Mullen was the head coach then, now the Gator coach. I could have swore he was. I could have swore he was in that conversation. Birdman says that the Philadelphia O-line was a train wreck last year. You're right, it was. Michael says, Frank to coach the Birds, I wouldn't be mad. No. Watch this. I'll take Frank Reich over Lincoln Riley in a Philly moment. Okay? In a Philly moment. Alexis says, broke the record for most O-line combinations. That's how you get your guy killed. So wait a minute. You don't play that into the poor play of Carson Wentz? What the hell were Eagle fans talking about then? If Carson Wentz sucked so bad last year, the Eagles had the most combination changes in NFL history last year, and you think that's all on the quarterback? Not me. That's not all on the quarterback. That is not all on the guy. No way. Wow. Number 1 in NFL history. Oh, that's funny, bro. A Philly moment. That's an hour. That's an hour. I tell people this all the time. When I was a young kid, dude, I used to go down to Wildwood, New Jersey, and I used to go down there, man, get nickel beer night and just listen to WIP on the way down and just get lit with my boys. We'd go down there all the time and just have a fun time, man. That's how I really started listening to sports talk back in the day. Because Philly really had more of a sports talk station than than what WFAN was in New York. FAN didn't really start doing sports talk until like 86, something like that. There was really no sports. Cosell was doing stuff, but it was dumb. But Philly had like a state. Philly was doing sports like in 81, 82, stuff like that. 10 times the sports city that New York is. Smile says, Hurts beat Taysom Hill, a gimmick QB. Taysom Hill, man. You know what? And you want to hear something? The Saints are paying that guy $10 million a year to be behind now Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is officially the starting quarterback for the Saints. Watch Jameis Winston throw for 4,500 yards this year. You want to know what a surprise team is going to be? Watch the Saints. Jameis has got he is going to prove some people wrong. I'm a fan of that dude. I like Jameis Winston. This guy was just a turnover machine when he was in Tampa. His decision-making was not very good coming out of Florida State. And even when he was in Tampa, he'd like fall off the character wagon a little bit, you know. But I like him, man. I think he is a good player. Yeah, Thomas, I think I saw that he's going to start the season on the PUP list. Player unable to perform list. They're not very happy with Michael Thomas. They just give Michael Thomas all that money in New Orleans, and that guy just craps the bed and says, yeah, you know, I get the surgery like right before the season started. And Peyton and Mickey Loomis, the general manager, are all doing this. What? Right? You think Haskins? No, he ain't going to go. You mean the Steelers? He ends up starting maybe for the Steelers. Haskins is in the Dwayne Haskins is in the Pittsburgh room. He's not in the Chicago room. I think you may think that Fields is going to be starting up in Chicago. And maybe, you know what? If Big Ben starts playing poorly in Pittsburgh, I don't know. Maybe they do slide him in there. Okay? All right. Hey, I want to appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming aboard like you always do. Thank you. Krause, I love you, man. Big Joe, thank you for everything. By the way, if you missed any of the show, please go over to the JAKIB Media channel and like it, share it, watch it a little bit later on. We'll catch you. Don't forget, 4 to 6 each and every single day. We'll see you on the flip side.